Hi everyone, my name is Akash Patel, and I'm one of Miss Phillips' former students. Yes, it is possible to survive Village East Gifted. I'm just kidding. I started as a Village East Gifted student about when I was in third grade and continued for 6 years after that. And for those of you who don't know, that was when the only Village East Gifted location was in Miss Phillips' basement, which I promise is not as shady as it sounds. No, it really was such a fun environment. If you, I'm sure Miss Phillips still has everything laminated and rainbow colored. I remember the fish tank that she had and the library. It was always a place that I look forward to going to. I remember all the fun and crazy ways Miss Phillips would have us learn, whether it was doing the limbo while saying Latin roots or doing the Macarena while learning SAT vocab. It definitely was never boring, and it never felt like we were learning. And it was amazing how quickly we learned and retained everything week after week. And to this day, I could still recite lists of prefixes and suffixes and their meanings, which we learned in etymology class. And I can do it in under 10 seconds because Miss Phillips always had us competing to show off how well we knew everything. Even the snack breaks were fun, as we chose from dozens of board games to play, a personal favorite of mine being Mad Gab. I also competed with a team in the Odyssey of the Mind program one year. Uh, After I left Village East Gifted as a student, I don't think you could really say I left, considering I volunteered for Miss Phillips towards the end of middle school. Um, in high school, I was very active in the academic community. I held a position on the executive board of the National Honor Society. I was president of the Indian American Society, president of the Spanish American Society, president of Peer Ambassadors, which was a anti-bullying organization that we had. I was a member of the Mathletes, captain of the volleyball team, so definitely had a lot going on, a lot more. Um, I also did well in the SATs, which a large part of could be credited to Village East Gifted, of course, where I learned to study English and vocabulary at such a young age. Then the next step was college applications. Finally narrowed down my choices to Tufts University and GW. And as you can see, I've got the Lincoln Memorial behind me, so I think you know which decision I made. I've got the Washington Monument right ahead. And I don't know how well I would have done in Boston being a Yankees fan. But other than that, I'm currently earning a business degree at GW while also completing the pre-med requirements, seeing as I would like to enter the medical field. And of course, I can't get enough of Village East Gifted, so now I work for Miss Phillips whenever I have time back home. So to wrap up, Village East Gifted's definitely made a difference in my life. Between both being a student and watching others learn as an employee, I've taken away from Village East Gifted not only uh, a love for learning, the fact that you could enjoy learning so much, but also the ability to think creatively. And I do thank Miss Phillips for that. So thank you for your time, everybody. Sorry I couldn't make it today.
Hi, my name is Andrea Ramsey, and I'm a former student of Village East Gifted. I started taking classes at Village East Gifted when I was in 5th grade, and I believe I took my last class while I was in 9th or 10th grade. I graduated high school in 2014 with a GPA of 97 and an SAT score of 2330. I was a National Merit Scholarship commended student, and I ran cross country and track, played soccer, and competed for my school's Quiz Bowl, History Bowl, and Science Olympiad teams. I'm currently a junior at Vassar College, and I'm studying art history. I work at the Francis Lehman Loeb Art Center as a student docent, and I've worked at the Art League of Long Island and in Vassar's Sexual Assault and Violence Prevention Office. One thing Village East Gifted taught me is the importance of lateral thinking, a skill that wasn't emphasized by many of my middle school and high school teachers that I utilized frequently in college. One of my favorite parts of Village East Gifted was the small classes that allowed for a discursive, inclusive, interdisciplinary style that facilitated enrichment in a variety of subjects. Thanks for everything, and congratulations on 10 years.
Hi, my name is Eric Giswali, and I am a current junior at Boston College. So I started learning from Miss Phillips when I was in 4th grade through the AHAP program at Heffel Hills. Basically, it was a gifted program through the grades of 3 to 5, and I would leave school for a full day and do all these really cool gifted activities at a separate location. So I was with Miss Phillips for 4th and 5th grade of my elementary school career. I participated in Odyssey of the Mind, and our team actually came in second place, and that was a really cool competition. And that's when I learned all of the Latin and Greek word roots and a lot of the core competencies that Village is Gifted teaches. Then, upon graduating from elementary school, I continued with Village is Gifted, and that's when Miss Phillips, started working outside of the school district and having her own practice. So I continued to do the programs all throughout middle school, and that's like 6th through 8th grade. And then towards high school, that's when I started actually working for Village is Gifted as a mentor, and I did that for a few years as well. So I've really run the whole gamut between being a student, being a mentor, being there for the whole transition, from all the different locations and all the growth that has happened at Village is Gifted. So my academic standing in high school was definitely improved by my time at Village is Gifted. On the SAT, I scored a 2190 out of 2400, and I believe I got a 780 on the critical reading section. And this was really helped by learning the fundamentals of vocabulary from such a young age. It definitely helped when I was studying for the SAT, and it honestly helped continuing to work at Village is Gifted during that time period of my life when I was studying for the SAT. So I can definitely attest to that. So in terms of life after Village is Gifted, there's been a lot, but I'll just try to cover some of the main points. So as I mentioned before, I am a current junior at Boston College, studying abroad in Paris right now. I am a double major of marketing and entrepreneurship with a minor in American Studies. And I'm still pretty involved on campus. I'm the junior chairperson of a club called BC Charity Water, which helps bring clean water to developing countries by raising funds, as well as bringing awareness to campus about the water crisis. And the internships I've done over the past couple summers are all in the business field, but slightly different positions. This past summer, I was working in real estate on Wall Street, and the summer before that, I was a research analyst at a British recruitment firm. So kind of a wide variety of different business internships over the past few years. In terms of my experience at Village is Gifted and how it's made a difference in my life, I would say that it's really provided me with a creative foundation that I wouldn't have received in the typical classroom. When you're at Village is Gifted, there's never an idea that's too weird. Because at VEG, you're learning not just to, learn for the test or learn what you're being mandated. You're learning for pure enjoyment, for the sake of curiosity, for the sake of just expanding our minds to think in more creative ways and learn things you wouldn't normally learn in a classroom. And this kind of environment fosters a freedom of curiosity that you don't really get when you're in a typical classroom learning math, learning history, learning science, learning whatever. Because in Village is Gifted, the topics aren't also so rigid like that. Every topic is some kind of creative infusion of one or two topics. So I think that's really the difference, that at Village is Gifted, you're not bound by these typical mandated requirements of what education should be. And although I am a few years removed from the public school system, from what I've heard about Common Core and how things are changing, I think a program like Village is Gifted is even more important nowadays for children, at least to be able to experience being in a learning environment that isn't such a rigid learning environment, being in a learning environment where they can do a little of their own research, do a little of their own thinking, come to their own conclusions, and grow in that organic way that I think we all want our minds to grow in. And if you guys have any questions about my experiences, my time at Village is Gifted, or beyond that, please feel free to reach out. My email is my first name, last name @gmail.com. So ERIC and then GESUALE @gmail.com. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Rachel Baum, and I've been with Miss P since 4th grade. I'm currently a junior in high school, and I've been with her for the last 8 years. In 9th grade, I began helping with classes, and in 10th, I became an employee. As a part of my high school career up to now, I've been involved in the school community. I'm in DECA, an international business club, SAD, Students Against Destructive Decisions, and Paw Print, our school newspaper. As a part of DECA, I've enjoyed some successes. Most notably, I placed first in the state for DECA's Buying and Merchandising Operations Research event with my partner last year, and ultimately we placed second internationally. My memories of VEG are all joyful. I began attending Miss P's classes when they were still housed in her basement, and it quickly became my favorite place. I still remember my first class with her. There were 2 other kids, and we were tasked with creating our own island. We decided it would be based off of sheepskin and cotton candy and dubbed it Sheepital Galore. Another one of my favorite memories was actually writing. I hated writing with a passion when I first started at Miss P's, but she made it tolerable by allowing me to grab her lamps and write under the tables. Another thing I loved was creating my dream home. We'd shut off all the lights and light up some Jolly Rancher candles, specifically blue raspberry and watermelon, and I'd spend all my time cramming bowling alleys and spa rooms into my mansion. Veg opened up more outlets to explore different topics that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to in school. It encouraged me to be as creative as possible instead of stifling me, as many schools tend to do. Not only did it push me to be innovative, it made me more eloquent by broadening my vocabulary and strengthening my writing skills. I'm indebted to Miss P for taking me on as a student and providing me with an environment that has aided my successes today. I'm overjoyed for her and so honored that she asked me to create this video. 10 years is no breeze, but it doesn't come as any surprise that she's done so well. She's a phenomenal teacher and an even better person. I'm so lucky to have attended her classes and to have gotten to know her. I'm sure there are many more successful years to come in her future.